So here's how to find and hire VAs for your agency. Where to find them, how to hire them, what to pay them, what tools to use, how to manage them. I'm going to go everything in this video. Let's get started by talking about why you'd hire a VA. So a VA is another word for an employee. So it's maybe someone from the Philippines, South Africa, South America, somewhere where the cost of living is lower, so you're paying less, and you're basically earning in dollars and pounds, and you're outsourcing for a low rate. This is really good because these countries have really high skilled people and they cost less. So if you get it right with the processes, you can effectively be a much more profitable agency. You can scale quicker because the hiring process is so much easier. We started doing this back in 2012. Some of our Filipino team have been with us for over 10 years, and they're talented, they're highly skilled, they're trustworthy, they're loyal. And I would recommend it for any agency who wants to outsource some of their maybe more repeatable work, administrative work. It's probably less so for client-facing things, but it's not impossible. You can get teams or VAs in the Philippines with really great accents, really good video acumen to do the video calls. South Africa is a good one as well. South America. So let's get started. Let's just go through where you find these VAs. So there's a recruitment agency called Shepherd, and supportshepherd.com is the website. And yeah, if you're lazy and you just want to get cut through to a really good VA that's shortlisted for you, maybe 2 or 3 that fit your job description and wage, you can go with these. They're a little bit on the more expensive side, so I'm sure they will negotiate a really fair wage for the VA, and they take a 30% upfront of their yearly wage. I don't know if that's still the case. When I was working with them a year ago, that was the rate. So quite expensive, but not really when you compare it to hiring someone from the UK or the US, especially the US. But yeah, this is one option, the lazy option. The other option is you use a website called OnlineJobs.ph. Now, this job board has been going for years. I think since definitely when I started Fat Joe back in 2012, 2013, and they haven't even updated their web design or functionality. It's so basic. But you're going to be able to find a Filipino VA on this website within the next 30 minutes. It's that quick. So you post a job, you'll get applications very quickly. You can hire them as quick as you want. And yeah, it's just full of VAs in the Philippines who are looking for work. Now, one thing I will say is that when you hire from the Philippines, this isn't always the case, but most of the time in the Philippines, they are looking for full-time work and long-term work. So it's a little bit different in India, for example, where here's my experience, and I don't mean to paint such a broad stroke on a country, but India seems to be a lot more entrepreneurial, and they're willing to do contracted project-based work. And in the Philippines, they're looking for more stability, and they're not so much motivated by money. They're motivated by being the comfort of being in a long-term position, the comfort of knowing they can pay the bills for a long period of time. They're not looking to make all the money in the world. So this is one thing to think about when you're hiring on these job boards. You're going to get the best people if you've got a full-time, long-term position. But you can, however, hire project-based work on online jobs. I have done before, and it's been fine. So yeah, one of these two options. You will need to do some digging with the online jobs option. There will be some back and forth, and you'll probably need to do a trial, and you'll need to, have a couple of goes before you find the perfect person. So this brings me to the next part, which is the job ad. This is very important when hiring a VA, because you can go on to You can go onto Upwork, you can go onto Online Jobs, any of the job boards, and hire for a similar kind of position where it's remote, and you're going to get hundreds of applications. One thing you need to do is add a qualifier in the job ad. This is non-negotiable. You need to do this, otherwise you're just going to be wasting so much time looking through applications. Now, a qualifier these days, you can't just add this word in the application, because there are some smart VAs who are applying for every job with AI. So the best kind of qualifier would be something like, please tell me your favourite month and the current president of the United States. Something like that. Something that's a little bit harder to include, or please include a picture of your favourite cereal. Something that makes them do a little bit more. Now, this will cut out 60-70% of the applications, leaving you with very few to go through. And you can easily go through these applications. Another thing to say with this job ad is to make the job really specific. So you might be looking for an all-rounder, which is a different kind of job ad, I suppose, like an executive assistant or something like that. For the most part, in your SEO agency, if you're not going for those roles, I wouldn't hire for like an SEO executive. I wouldn't hire for, this broad role. I would hire for someone to do X, Y, and Z. Someone to do outreach. Someone to do the negotiating with the bloggers. Someone to do design. Someone to do admin work on this particular thing. So 1 to 2 tasks, maybe 3 tasks in total. Give them the list of responsibilities. Tell them exactly what they need, the experience they need, if they'll require training, or if they can just get, if they need the experience before they start. Be very specific in the job ad. In the Philippines, they are very honest, but also they can get very overwhelmed if you're expecting too much of them. I would keep it very, very simple and direct and easy to understand in the job ad, so that they can have fully confidence of applying, and you can have full confidence in doing an interview with them. Which brings me on to the interview stage. Now, you can do text chat back and forth and hire someone. We've done it multiple times. We've hired multiple Filipinos without ever speaking to them. I don't think this is correct. I don't think this is right. We don't do this anymore. You need a way to speak to them. You can get a vibe of someone by speaking to them. You set the tone from the start. If you say, hey, welcome to the team, or even at the interview stage, hey, we're this company and this is what we're about. They can judge you. You can judge them. You can also, indirectly test their internet connection, test their voice, how well presented they are, that kind of thing, especially if you're hiring for more customer-facing roles. We actually use an asynchronous video interview tool called HireFlix. So HireFlix, if I go to hireflix.com, HireFlix is a piece of software where you record the questions of the interview, and the interviewee can answer them asynchronously. So you send them a link and then they answer it. This is great because you can just, anyone that fits the bill in your original application process, you can send them this HireFlix, and then they go through the questions, and if they're really serious, they go through all the questions and they try very hard. You can then go to HireFlix at your leisure whenever you have the time to do it, which is great, and you can go through these applications. Now, it's really easy then to process this, because you can have 2-3 people all processing the applications at different times when it's convenient for them, which is great if you're a remote business, because not everyone can be on the same call, not everyone can see the person. So yeah, you can do this, and your goal is to get maybe a handful of these HireFlix done so you can make a decision, and then you might want to shortlist down to the last 2. And at this stage, you can decide whether you want to hire them directly just from the HireFlix video. It can be done, especially for the lower end positions like admin stuff. You can just hire someone based off of HireFlix, that's fine. if you want to have that one-on-one, you can then schedule a call post-job or pre-job to have the last interview. Hireflix is quite expensive, I think. You can, so $150 a month or $75 a month. It's, it's worth it for us, but you can do this on a really low budget if you use something like Loom. You just get the Filipino VA to answer a set amount of questions through Loom. There's also other software like Video Ask from the guys at Typeform, which might be cheaper, but you'll find a way to do it. I just think get them on a video, get to see them. It makes all the difference, and it also cuts out a lot of the people that just are not that interested in the job. If you've got to get on video and start talking, they might say, I just want a job where they don't want to talk to me, so I can quickly disappear if I want to. Once you find the right VA, once you find the right one, you want to do a paid trial. This I think is essential as well. It gives you both a chance to see how well you collaborate. I would make it a paid project, so pay them a nominal amount. Make it fair, a 1 week trial or a project is great. And if you're both happy with how the trial goes, then you make the hire. And the hire should involve a contract. Obviously, you're not employing them; they're not on the payroll. But it's nice to give them things like some paid time off. It's nice to give them some notice so they feel really secure in the job. It's good to set some ground rules. So you want to make sure they're doing X amount of hours. You don't want them to have loads of jobs. Some Filipino VAs or some VAs from any country, they might take on a lot more work than they can handle. You want to make sure that it's in the contract that they're not taking on more work because you want them to focus on yours. You might want to mention just things about start time, end time, etiquette of talking and communication with staff and your team members, who they're reporting to, just some ground rules. And then when you get them started, you want to get them signed into a piece of software called Hubstaff. Now, Hubstaff is a great tool for remote teams. Everyone can sign in and they log what project they're working on. It logs the time. Even if you're not doing client work, it kind of helps as an overall business to see where the time's going, how many hours you spent on X, and how much money really you're spending on, a department, for example, like outreach or marketing. This is really useful, especially for your VAs, your remote VAs. They log in, they track their own time, and it pays them. So they enter their PayPal details or Payoneer or Wise, and then Hubstaff will automatically pay them every week. Now, you can set the amount of hours they work in. You can set, if you want them to do overtime, you can pay bonuses through it. It shows their productivity. You might not want to do all this kind of surveillance stuff, but it might help in the early stages of a hire. You can take screenshots of the screen. We don't do that anymore. But yeah, all this stuff is possible with it if you want to do it at the start. You want to get them in, like, obviously your Google Chat, Spaces, Slack. You want to get them in your processes as much as possible. Maybe you don't have to give them an email right away, like a company email. Maybe it's fine to keep them external, but it depends what kind of job it is. For tasks, we use Trello boards just because it's so easy. I can show you an example of one here. So for our design VA, we have an inbox where we put new designs. She moves it over to being designed when it's being designed, and then she puts it in completed when it's complete. And we get notifications at every stage. It's really easy, and I don't know many other productivity or project management tools that just make it as easy as that. We don't have to, learn anything new. It's dead simple, really intuitive. For docs, we use SOP. Obviously, we've got Google Docs, write the SOPs. We've got Loom videos. So it's really easy for them to know what to do. And the payroll, obviously, Hubstaff manages this. You can use Wise as well, or you can use PayPal, whatever it is. So yeah, so as discussed earlier, we do task management with Trello. Use any of these tools though, it works fine. Any sort of project management tool that works in a similar way. SOPs, again, we're using Google Docs, but a really cool way to create these SOPs is record yourself doing the task in Loom. So Loom is great. You know what Loom is, I hope. It's a great piece of kit. You can just record yourself and it records your screen. It creates a transcript for you. From that transcript, paste it in ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT to create an SOP from the transcript. And usually it's brilliant. It's like way better than anything you could write from scratch. And you really save a lot of time because all you've done is record yourself doing the task and talking over it. So that's a really cool way of doing that for VAs, but for anyone really. Pay. I like to pay fairly for VAs. You know, make sure they stick around. Make sure they're not always looking for more money. But you know, $5 on the low end for administrative work, $6-7, up to $15. Probably the most we've paid for a VA from the Philippines. The higher end stuff is like SEO kind of stuff, SEO tasks, design tasks are a little bit higher as well. But for your administrative tasks at the low end, you're talking $5-6. And yeah, you got to remember to pay the 13th month. So Philippines get paid a 13th month, which is their full month wage, just paid again in December, like a Christmas bonus. And yeah, culture and happiness. It's very easy to leave the Philippines team out of your company affairs, but try and include them in all email communication. Try and give them calls often. Keep them included in the chats and that kind of thing. And you can go over and see them. You know, I actually went and seen the Philippines team in 2018, and I might have a picture somewhere of that. So yeah, these were two of the Philippines team, and we went and seen them and give them a Fat Joe t-shirt. So it's really cool to do, and it just breaks that barrier of online, and you know, treat them like your staff, treat them like your core team, and they'll be with you for, you know, like our Philippines team, a decade. So yeah, that's how to hire a team from the Philippines, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.